What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And today is going to be another edition of a rubbish oil change video. This time on a Mitsubishi Evo X. This is a 2013 model. It's an MR. Pretty dirty, actually. Needs to be detailed a little bit. And funny story, I know you're probably going to laugh at this, but this is actually my mom's car. She drives an Evo, which is awesome. She wanted something small, white, Japanese, and had some power that was automatic. Specifically, it wasn't really Japanese. We chose Japanese just because we've always had good runnings with the Japanese manufactured cars. And we never ever owned a Mitsubishi, so it was pretty cool to try out. And she really fell in love with the Evo. It was her choice, and that's what she chose. And so she drives an Evo. This has almost 7,000 miles on it. So pretty low miles for a 2013. She doesn't drive it a whole lot. It's kind of her special car, but I maintain it for her. I change the oil and stuff. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be changing the oil on this Mitsubishi Evo. I got to detail it here, but we're going to get some nasty weather. But anyway, I've already started. I've taken the skid plate off, if you see right here. See that skid plate? It's kind of almost like a door. But basically, there's your oil filter right here. And your drain plug on Evo is right here. As you can see, there we go. There's our drain plug. Of course, this is the underneath of this thing. Probably wipe it down once I get done with it. I always do that, especially in Colorado. The roads around here are always just so dirty. So after we get the oil change done, I'll wipe it down underneath here. But basically, oil filter, drain plugs over here or right there. Pretty simple task. You just have to remove, oops, sorry about that. You just have to remove these off of that skid plate, which this fits up here. Sort of something like that. It's actually really well engineered. That's the one thing I love about this car is it comes with that little skid plate. I mean, this whole thing is covered with this, I know it's plastic, but at least it does something, which is pretty cool. You can definitely tell it's rally bred. I mean, the suspension arms, look at the suspension arms on these things. I mean, they're like twice the size as my car, which is so awesome. Oh yeah, I'll show you this too. Kind of get a little distracted from our oil change video, but go over here. I mean, look at the strut on this thing. This thing's insane. I mean, look at the size of this center thing on this Bilstein strut. You get these with the MR, and you get the two-piece rotors with the MR, and the dual clutch transmission, which is okay. I'm just not a fan of mine, but it's my mom's, so she went auto. I would have got a GSR for a manual if it was my choice, but it was her choice, so yeah. But that is awesome. This car, I've never been in a car that's from the factory. This has such a stiff suspension. It's hysterical. But anyway, we're going to get on draining the oil, so the next time you see me is after we have the oil draining. So let's get to it. Alrighty, everybody. We just got the drain plug out. It's such a little engine. There's hardly, it goes full bore for like a 30 seconds, and then it goes to this little tiny, you can't hardly even see it, little tiny stream of oil. Not a whole lot in these engines. I think it's like 4.5 quart, 5 quart, somewhere in that range. I'll have to look it up before we put it in the car. But as you can see, it's draining. Got our little oil catch thing here. It's actually getting full. The red thing's coming up a little bit. And if anybody is wondering what this lift is, this is what's called a max jack. I think it's made by Danmar. Yes, it is. And it's a lift designed to fit in a garage to do stuff like this. So you're not on, the ground. You're not on a jack or floor stands. You can lift the car in the air, which is so awesome. We struggled for years, me and my dad, changing oil and stuff. Just using, normal jacks. And this made it so much easier. It's so much more. It's totally worth it. If you can spare the cash, I think it was like $2,300, I think, for this system. It's totally worth it, and we've used it so much. If you do a lot of oil changes, do a lot of your own work, it's totally worth it because you'll get that back in cash. Totally worth it. But definitely something that we love. We love to work on our own cars, and it's been totally worth it. Because you can put this on the lift, you can take the tires off, and do whatever you want with it, basically. Because it's a miniature lift is what it is. So definitely worth the money. I would definitely say if you want to if you work on your cars a lot. I mean, I know there's some of you that just say, hey, I'm fine with a Jack and Jackson. That's totally fine. That's all up to you guys. But for us, it was definitely worth it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I love this Max. I think we've had it for 2 years now. It's been awesome. So definitely something that is pretty cool. But anyway, we'll let this finish draining here, and we will get on, and I'll pop the oil filter off, which that's always going to be fun. And then I'll show you the oil we will be putting in this. So let me get the oil filter off, and then I'll show you the oil we're putting in this. So on to the next thing. Okay, so we got the oil filter is off and sitting in our little thing there. Next, we'll be putting on this AMSOIL oil filter. That's the part number, and that'll be going on. And then after that, we can put the drain plug in, torque it down to 32 foot-pounds on the drain plug for the oil pan, and then start putting the oil in it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. I'll show it to you. I'm switching over this car, everything to AMSOIL, and I will explain why in another episode, but I'll tell you why coming up in another week or two or so. That's what the filter looks like. It's actually pretty unique looking with all these little holes in it. I love that these come sealed in this plastic stuff, so you know that there's no debris in there, which is so awesome. So anyway, we'll get this put on, and then next thing you'll see is me putting the oil in it. So let's do it. Also, I forgot to mention this. You always want to wipe that surface clean. Just it's a good measure, and it'll help you seal up your oil filter, as well as on the little black ring here. You always want to put some fresh oil on that, and that will definitely help it seal. So definitely do those two things if you don't know that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and on to the next part. Okay, after we've made a mess with changing the oil of all those papers. That's the one thing I hate about oil changes. Like, either you mess your concrete up, or you gotta lay down thousands of papers. So I did that instead of messing the concrete up. But I just put in this whole, this is 4 quarts in this. I just put in this whole 1 gallon unit of AMSOIL synthetic. It's the Signature Series, and I love this oil because, as you see there, 1 year or 25,000 miles, and I know it works because that's what I do in my car. I only change the oil in my car once a year because I don't drive 25,000 miles a year, and it's awesome. I have high things to say about this oil. I love this oil, and that's what's going in this car for the first time. We've used Mobil 1 before, and now I'm switching everything over to AMSOIL in the engines and stuff. And I'll tell you later in a later video why I'm doing AMSOIL and just about everything that I'm going to be changing oil in. I'll tell you that in a later video. Kind of a little announcement coming up, but I will tell you in a later video. So basically, got that one in there. Oil fill is right here on Evo. Make sure you always use a funnel, people. I see people, they can, if you're real good at it, you can get it in there, but it usually just goes everywhere, makes a mess out of everything. That's what I say about that. So after we get the oil, rest of the oil put in, we'll start it up, and I'll finish the video from there. Okay, so now that's running. It's been running about 5 minutes. We have to take a look and see if there's any warning lights, which obviously there isn't. I put about 5 quarts in it, even though the manual says 5 quarts. 5.4 quarts is supposed to be added. Every time I use that, it actually seems like it's too high on the dipstick after you drive it. So I'm just going to leave it at 5 quarts, and I'm going to drive it around town a little bit and come back and check it. But usually I think 5 quarts is just plenty for these engines. Now, I may be wrong. It may go down. I may need to add some. But really, you're only off by just like a little tiny bit, so it's not that big of an issue. So yeah, that's an oil change video on the Mitsubishi Evo X. Probably a rubbish one at that, not very step-by-step, but just kind of an overview, and it kind of makes for an interesting video. You will be seeing more of this car in the future as we go along. I'm going to kind of put it into the channel a little bit more. So yeah, I'm all dirty, need to get cleaned up, and so yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Always subscribe. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you all sometime next week. So yeah, Sorry it wasn't a full step-by-step video. If you want me to make a full step-by-step video, I can do that next time this thing needs an oil change. It's pretty straightforward though. Any car person should know it, unless you don't. So anyway, I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching.